Welcome to All Things Social Security. Enjoy your video. Hey, happy Friday, guys. And Red Friday to all the deployed military members. It's a particularly pivotal Friday, given the really important missions many of you are on. And I'm thinking about you 24/7, and I think a lot of people here are. Normally, my Red Fridays are all about, being thankful for all of the deployed because they can't be home with their families like we can be, and all because they're doing things to protect us and our national security, so we can go about living our daily lives the way we do. Again, it's a little more striking this Friday, and uh, anyway, my heart is with everybody and wishing and praying for safety for everybody, and that the mission, which is so incredibly important, many of us are aware of how important it is. Many are not, but we don't have to worry about them too much. And I just want everyone to be successful and come home safe and sound. Okay, so let's get on to our Friday fraud law review. Okay, so this one is in Massachusetts, and I was just kind of skimming it. And the funny thing is, they don't really give details. I mean, I know she ripped off Social Security, or SSI, and there's a reason why I think it might be SSI, but so I'll give it to you. And I'm not sure why they kept it kind of really vague to the point of almost being boring, but let me just go through it. This is a 53-year-old. I'm not going to say the name because she has not been found guilty. So she has a presumption of innocence granted by our Constitution until she is proven guilty. So I'm going to definitely afford her that because I think that's a really important point to make. So here, this is in the District of Massachusetts, and she is in Gardner. She's been charged at a federal court in Worcester. Am I saying that right, guys? With fraudulently receiving Social Security, let's say Social Security disability benefits for 10 years. There was a reason why I thought maybe it was SSI, but we'll see. So this 53-year-old has been charged with a count of receipt of stolen government money or property, one count of Social Security fraud, and one count of false statements. The irony is that's what she's been charged with. I don't understand why it's one count of these things, because from my read, even from what little they've said, clearly there's been more than one possible count. Repeated accounts of each one is probably more like it. I always have to question that. Like I could see taking a plea down so you don't have to try her, giving her something better than the whole kit and caboodle. But why would you charge like that? Anyway, according to the charging documents from 2013 until 2023, this not so lovely, potentially 53-year-old, allegedly received over 93,000 in Social Security disability benefits that she was not entitled to. Now, why aren't they giving the details? Why was she not entitled to it? Was it not her? Did she pretend to be disabled when she wasn't? Was she committing fraud? In which way? That's what I always want to know. I like to know the meat and the meat and the details. They're further alleging that she concealed, of course, material information from the SSA with the intent to fraudulently obtain the benefits. And she submitted a fraudulent lease agreement to the SSA in 2023. This is where I thought maybe SSI was involved, and I'll tell you why in a minute. They go on to say that the charging documents allege that she omitted her husband from the fraudulent lease because she knew that if she reported living with him, her husband's income and resources would have affected the amount of her benefits. Well, that's not true for SS. That would only be true for SSI. But they don't mention SSI. They say Social Security disability benefits, which is not SSI. So I'm just a little confused there. Was it a typo? Is there something that I'm just not seeing? I don't know. And then they talk about what the possible sentences are for what if the alleged actions are proven to be true, up to 10 years in prison with 3 years of supervised, I can talk, release and a fine of $250,000, or the fine can be twice the gross gain or loss, whichever is greater. Well, if her gain was 93 and change, the $250,000 is going to be more, right? Um, that is for That is for the charge of receipt of stolen government money or property. For the Social Security fraud that provides the regular Social Security fraud, I guess, um, provides for a sentence of up to 5 years in prison, 3 years of supervised release, and a fine of $250,000 or twice the gross gain, again, whichever is greater. And then for false statements, that charge provides for a sentence of up to 5 years, also 3 years of supervised release, and a fine of $250,000 or twice the gross gain. That is all they're giving us here. And I really want to, I want to submit I'm joking here, guys, but I want to submit a complaint to the OIG because I have a complaint form. You know, it's for fraud, waste, or abuse. I want to be like, that's abusive to not give us, and it's also wasteful. Why waste your time putting out a blurb like this if you're not going to give a little bit of the details? Anyway, I'm being funny there. I would never do that. But anyway, it's so, I don't know. It's so scant. But that's what's going on there. There's a bunch of other reports that are not, the SSA is involved in them, obviously, or they wouldn't be reported by the OIG for the SSA. But they are really covering a whole broad range of things. It's almost like other things makes me wonder if there's less Social Security fraud right now because of some of the implemented um, fail proofs that have been implemented in the last year. Makes me wonder because they're reporting on other things, other fraud with other areas where SSA has been part of the investigator side. Probably because anytime anyone does something, their Social Security number is implicated, even if they're not ripping off Social Security. So, all right, that's it for today, guys. And again, be safe. Please give a prayer to our military members, our deployed folks, particularly those working on the really important Epic Fury. And I don't know, with a lot of prayer from everybody, I think there's a good chance we'll have um, a hoped for outcome, and hopefully any kind of losses can be minimized as much as possible, particularly compared to the past. All right. Thanks, guys. Bye.